I remember once when I was 8 years old, and you know, 8-year-old kids, I was with friends and we were talking, and everybody's talking about, oh, this is what I want at my wedding, and this is what I want it to look like when I get married. And I just remember thinking, you know, that's not really what I want. And at first, you know, everyone's response was, oh, it's okay, maybe you'll meet a boy who doesn't want to get married too. And it wasn't until I was 10 or 11 that I started to realize that it wasn't about me not wanting to be married, it was about me not wanting to be married to a boy.
I would say I'm bisexual.
I'm still defining myself, if I could just say that. I do happen to like both genders.
I'm bisexual.
Okay.
Oh, I identify as gay.
Okay, so sexual identity, that's really hard because I know everyone sees me as gay, so then I tell myself that I'm gay, but in reality I'm not really gay, but I'm not bisexual. I guess you can say I'm homoflexible, so generally I'm attracted to men both physically and emotionally, but at the same time I'm also emotionally attracted to females, but not physically attracted to females. So I could definitely be in a relationship and like have a family and a kid and, you know, white picket fence with a man, but I don't know if I could do that with a woman. Maybe the emotional aspect, but having sex with her every night.
It's not a choice, you know, I don't think anyone chooses that for themselves. It's not easy, and it's not always fun, and people aren't the most accepting of it. So I don't think that I made that choice, and I don't think that anyone makes that choice. And
in the Black community, I feel like it's not really taboo, I would say, but I feel like it's not really spoken of. Groups or like racial groups who are openly gay and stuff like that, they have more like a more accepting community than the African American race.
Generally, let's be honest, when we stereotypically think of a black man, we think of someone who's aggressive, someone who, you know, hide your kids from that black guy, like hide yourself from that black guy because he's gonna hurt you. But surprisingly, since I'm a gay black man, people don't fear me at all.
And like I see as much Spanish people coming out as like I see white, so it kind of makes it hard. People are afraid to say it, like they're afraid to be judged.
Surrounded by white gay people, I didn't really know or see any black gay people, and even in high school, you know, I was the only out gay black person at my high school of about 700 kids, and so I always felt like I had to choose between those different sides of my identity, you know, like I was in the
I feel like there's so much that you have to deal with just being black. Being bisexual, like I feel like someone's always going to be judging me.
To be completely honest, most of the hate that I've ever gotten is from the black community, and that's just such a mess simply because I'm black. So how dare you accept a white gay boy but not accept a black gay boy? But it's just so awkward, and it's so weird because you would think that a community that's been ostracized and beaten down since the conception of this country, you would think that they would have a little bit more compassion for other minorities, and that's totally not the case.
I mean, sometimes I could be talking to a person and they'll just come out out of nowhere and say, wait, are you gay or are you straight? And I'm like, I just like you for you.
I just kind of felt like I always had to choose, you know, am I gonna deal with my blackness today or am I gonna deal with my gayness? And I never really knew how to deal with the two together, and I guess I never really wanted to deal with the two together. And so I spent a lot of high school separating them, and it wasn't until maybe late junior year of high school, early senior year that I really started to be more accepting of myself and kind of force the people around me to accept both of those parts of my identity as well. You know, I wasn't hiding who I was, I just wasn't fully accepting it, and I didn't demand that other people accept that either. And so once I became comfortable with it, it was much easier for me to ask other people to be comfortable with it. And I think that a really big part of that was just me growing up. You know, I came out when I was 13 years old, and I was still very young, and a lot of the responses I got were, well, you're young, you don't know, maybe, you know, maybe it's a phase, maybe you'll end up liking boys one day. And so I guess in the back of my mind, I still wanted to believe that too, because I knew it would be easier if I did. And if I wasn't okay with the things that would make me happy, I couldn't ask anyone else to be okay with it. Even now, you know, in our GSA meetings, I look around and there aren't that many of us who identify as people of color. And even in filming for this documentary, you know, there aren't that many black lesbians here. And the ones that are here, you know, a lot of them weren't comfortable with doing this. And so I think that there's a very strong male dominance within the gay community. For women, unfortunately, it's presented a lot as if two women are together, it has to be for the sexual pleasure or viewing of men. Whereas if two men are together, they just get to be together. And so I think that there's this immense pressure on gay women of having to, I guess, assert their emotional relationship, because men view two women together and they think that those two women are together for the sake of pleasuring a man, and that's not really the case. In my experience, you know, like identifying as a gay woman is difficult in and of itself, but then adding on to that the fact that I'm black, like I've had issues with that, just because the community of color, in my experience, I feel like is not the most accepting. And so again, you know, that had a lot to do with why I was so uncomfortable with myself growing up, and why I had so many insecurities, and why it took me so long to be okay with my identity.
For example, in the black community, whether we like it or not, we try so hard to be accepted by the white community. So if we have gay people in the black community, that just gives white people a reason to hate us even more. The colonies of European countries are more closed-minded than the actual European countries, because the religion is a European religion. So I don't understand Jamaica, because, well, firstly, like, Catholicism, it was inflicted, or it was pushed onto them from the English, but now in England they have like gay marriage and gay rights and all this good stuff. But in Jamaica, let's just kill people because they're gay. Okay, so you want to relinquish every other part of your Eurocentric society, but you want to keep the religion? What the hell? What sense does that make? That's just my brand. I'm sorry.
And I think that my hopes in making this documentary was not only to educate people about that experience for people of color who also identify as non-heterosexual, but also to, I guess, you know, share our story. Either, oh, you're black, or oh, you're gay. And it's very rare that I get to talk about or share both of those parts. They're both so important to how I see myself as a person and how I identify, that I don't ever want to have to choose between the two anymore. I want to be able to comfortably identify with both, and I want to be able to share both of those sides of myself and not feel like I can either embrace my blackness today or I can embrace my gayness. You know, I want to embrace both every day and encourage everyone else to embrace both of those within me and from other people. I really just hope that, along with enlightening people about the experience of black gay people in today's society, I can also kind of encourage them to be allies. Within these communities of people who are minorities, you have different experiences, and we're not all the same, and we don't all experience the same thing. And so, you know, if you're going to be an ally for a feminist agenda, or if you're going to be an ally for the LGBTQ agenda, or if you're going to be an ally for a people of color agenda, you know, you have to recognize that within those communities, there are different people and there are different experiences, and if you're going to be an ally for one, you have to be an ally for all.